What did you learn about your guys with the game? You said you were physical maybe in the first game, but they came back the next game okay?
Yeah, I thought in the first game, I just thought they sped us up, and we weren't able. I thought when we executed, we were able to get what we wanted offensively. I'm not saying we scored, but we were able to create good shots. But more importantly, we were able to get our transition defense set up. I thought where we got in trouble was when we got sped up. We took some bad shots, some quick shots, and we turned it over. And then because of that, it wasn't coordinated. We weren't able to get our defense set up. And I thought we got killed in transition. I thought that was the game. I thought our half-court defense was actually pretty good. It was the transition, and a lot of that was because of our lack of execution, just getting sped up. So I learned that we're resilient to be able to come back, less than 48 hours after that game, and to play as hard as we did, and to have a decisive win, to correct some of the things that we talked about after Florida when we watched tape on Thanksgiving Day, and to be able to put that into practice in real live game situation. I was really, really pleased with that. And I think we're pretty good. I think we have a chance to, I think we have a chance. And I'm excited about, our growth opportunities going forward.
I believe you guys had an advantage of 43-9 in second chance points combined between those two games. Is that something you think you guys can replicate moving forward? Because even in a game where Florida did start to take over, that was a place that you guys found, consistency in.
Well, I think that's probably been one of the pleasant surprises for me this year, and probably more so in the two games in New York, how we were able to rebound against high major teams. I think coming into the Florida game, I think they were number one in the country in offensive rebounding. They were getting 50% of their missed shots, which is unheard of. And I think they had 7 against us. And like I said after the game, that was the one area in that game that I thought we did a really good job of. So hopefully it's something we can continue to do. Rebound at a very high level. Offensive rebound, I think we had 17 against Oregon State because that gives us more opportunities to score.
Jeff, Missouri's one of the best shot blocking teams in the nation. They're really good stealing. What kind of athleticism are you going to be facing tomorrow?
Well, they play a chaotic style that's very different. They'll switch ball screens. They'll point switch off. They're going to pressure. They are very, very comfortable in rotations. They play really, really hard. They have, good size and athleticism. And so we're going to face a well-coached team that defensively constantly pressures, picks you up full court. They'll play 12, 13 guys, and they're going to be relentless coming after you. So it's going to be really important for us to have poise, to be strong, to not get sped up, to make sure we're organized offensively and defensively, and to play with the toughness and physicality that's necessary in that type of game.
It's part of the education of this team is playing chaotic style like that.
Yeah, we have to be able to do it. Florida, they were the first team to really come after us, and Binghamton did it a little bit, but the level, was different, and they really went after Bub, and so we were able to see that. It was the first time. I thought we handled it better in the next game. I thought Bub handled it better in the next game against Oregon State, and so again, this will be. I think they're going to come after us. I know that. It'll be in a different way, from what we've seen, and we have to be able to handle it. The one thing about our league, there are different styles, and so you have to be able to adjust and adapt to whatever style teams are playing.
We talked a lot last week about how Bub handled the pressure and playing against Power 5 guards. How do you think Jalen did in his reserve minutes?
I thought he did very well. Jalen can't judge himself and should not be judged by the ball going in the basket. I thought he made some really good plays, especially against Oregon State. I thought he got us into stuff. I thought he passed the ball very well. The shots will come because he's a good player. Those will come. But I thought his floor game was really good. I thought he defended very well. I think he's getting better and better, and I think he's going to be really important tomorrow.
Go ahead, Steve.
Bouncing off of that a little bit, just how have you judged process versus results for the entire team this early in the year?
Well, in what we do and what I do, the results are wins and losses. But for me, I look at growth. I look at, are we getting better? How are we handling situations? Are we getting better in practice? Do we have the right attitude? I think if we take care of that stuff, then I think that helps the result take care of itself. So I've been pleased with that. I've been pleased that, we got off the mat. That was the first time that we've gotten punched and we got off the mat. That's a really, really good sign. We've handled a little bit of success well. Now we've beaten a high major team, a Power 5 team. How do we handle that? When we come back, how do we handle that? I thought we did a good job of practice yesterday. Last week was such a busy, hectic week with travel, playing the 2 games in less than 48 hours, off Saturday, and now you come back to practice. When you've played those types of games, sometimes the practice can seem monotonous and guys want to just play. I thought we had a really good practice yesterday. So, again, I look at it, the process of how are we approaching each day? Are we showing up the right way to get better, to work, to understanding that we have a high ceiling that we haven't reached it yet? Or are we satisfied? Or are we going to show up and just kind of go through the motions and think we can be a team that just shows up on game day? That's what gets you beat. So we've been pretty good with the process.
Zach obviously scored, I think, 3 threes early on against Oregon State, also scored inside. How does a wing like Zach open up your offense, or how does he affect your offense?
Yeah, well, I thought he had a good 2 games up there. I think he had 10 and 9 against Florida and 19 and I think 8 in the second game. Zach's a guy that can shoot the basketball. He made over 60 threes each year in his 2 years at High Point. We want him taking good shots. We have all the confidence in the world in him doing that. But I thought he played with power in that game. He had a play in the first half where he caught it at the top of the key, immediately ripped and drove and went in to have a confrontation at the rim, got fouled. That's who he needs to be even more. He got 2 tip dunks all over the offensive glass. And then to be a consistent defender. And so that means to have the discipline and the concentration to do that at a high level all the time. I thought he got better up there.
Does a guy like Zach make everyone else kind of better at rebounding when he's on the floor as well?
Yeah, I think there's so many different things that Zach can do. And I think he's just scratching the surface of the player that he's going to eventually become. I think he's talented. Obviously, he has athleticism. He has good size. And he can make shots. It's just learning the discipline to do that at the high level all the time. So your concentration level, your preparation, all of those things are continuing to improve for him. He's been able to get by on talent and athleticism. And as you take a step up, those things kind of even out. And so it's the discipline, the concentration, and the preparation. And he's learning how to do that. He has an unbelievable attitude. He's an unbelievable kid. He wants to be good. He's a great teammate, not a good teammate. He's a great teammate. And the guys love him. And so they were really, really happy, to see him make some shots, make some plays against Oregon State because he makes us better.
When he hit those 2 threes to start, I know he hit a third, but the first 2 times they kind of left him alone. That third time, they went out and challenged him, and it looked like after that, Oregon State was like, we have to guard that guy. And it seemed like your team adjusted immediately and said, hey, now we can feed it inside. What can you say about how your team processes those in-game adjustments and recognizing like, hey, we have a different way to win now?
Yeah, well, again, it's all about understanding who we are, understanding what teams are going to try to do, to defend us and what, again, Florida they were very, very physical. Very physical in that game. And we weren't able to adjust. Instead, we put our head down and just tried to go faster. We made a big-time adjustment against Oregon State doing that. We have different guys that can step up. I think our team knows that. They've seen it in practice. They've seen it in our trip to Spain. They've seen it in them playing pickup. They see it in how the guys work. And so I think they have confidence in each other. I mean, it could be Guillermo, when we played Jacksonville. It could be his brother who came in and hit 4 threes in the first game. So we have a lot of guys. It could be Will, who did what he did defensively against Florida Gulf Coast. Jalen had a 10-point half. I think it was against Binghamton. So we have different guys that can step up. We just need everyone pulling in the same direction, which we have been, about it just being about us winning. That's it. And what do I have to do to help us win? And the guys have had great attitudes about that.
Are your bigs progressing the way you like them to progress at this point?
I think they have. I think they've gotten better. Guillermo was really, really sick up in New York, so I don't think he played his best. He didn't, after the game against Jacksonville, where he had his career high. We were off Saturday. He got sick Saturday evening, didn't practice Sunday, didn't practice Monday, and didn't really do much on Tuesday because we travel and practice up there. So the game was his first. So his win, and for him, it's easy to lose weight, when you're not eating. And for a few days, because of how sick he wasn't able to eat. So he didn't play his best up there. But I thought Fetty did against Oregon State. He was terrific. Played with force, made some great passes. Obviously what he does defensively for us. So I like where they are, but I know that there's room for improvement.
I know it's a small sample size and a short season so far, but how have you seen your guys being willing to take coaching and you not having to repeat things? That's something that you had to deal with before, where you said something and this years ago, but like you said, something maybe a guy didn't catch on right away.
Yeah, don't conjure that up. This group and last year's group have been refreshing because they want to be coached. They don't have all the answers. And they want to be a part of something. And so for me, and I think our coaching staff feels the same way, it's been a joy to come to work every day, to be around them, to be a part of their journey, to try to help them, because the attitudes have been so good. And so it's been refreshing.
This will be your 7th non-conference game. Then you got a conference game. Then you got more non-conference games. Then you got a conference game. Do you like having the conference games spread out like that?
It is. This is college basketball now, man. With 20 games, conference games. That's just, you get used to it. You get adjusted. What was it? My second year, we had won the first game of the year.
Florida State.
Yeah. So it's just an adjustment. You just got to play the games that are in front of you.
I think you mentioned about physicality when you were up in Brooklyn, and obviously Bub experienced a lot of that maybe for the first time this year. I was curious though, he played 62 minutes, shot like 20 shots, only had 4 free throw attempts. Is there something a young guard can learn about, if a team's going to be physical with him, how to get that to turn into more free throws?
Yeah, I mean, just learning how to sell some stuff, getting experience, and people getting adjusted to it, to drive more, to be able to play through the contact, to get the spots, to shot fake, get people up in the air, just things like that, that he'll grow and he'll get better from. Again, I thought he made an adjustment in the second game. He had a great drive where he shot fake, got the guy in the air, and got a 3-point play. So just more of that.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right.